Well, it's a little bit of a sad day here at Purple Collar Life. I bought this 2005 Ford F350 brand new from a dealership down in Maryland in 2005. This is the 6.0 diesel. We've had this now for 17 years. Mackenzie, our daughter, has grown up in this truck. I was in a bad accident in this truck. It may have saved my life. We've towed with this truck, the camper, across the country to Yellowstone, Wisconsin Dells, South Dakota, North Dakota, the Corn Palace, the Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Maine. Up to Maine, down to Tennessee. So this truck has done a lot of family work for us, and it's done a good job. Now recently I talked in a video about how we had some trouble with this truck. We actually spent about $7,000 on a 17-year-old truck getting it fixed up. We did the oil cooler, the EGR cooler, the oil cooler, the EGR valve, the EGR cooler. We also had to do some other diesel repair things to this truck. We did a switch in the transfer case for the four-wheel drive. So all in all, about $7,000. And that's a ton of money to put into a 17-year-old truck. But we needed it to still tow the camper and the boat. But we kind of got to a point where after investing all that money in the 6.0, and it wasn't the first time we've done that, we've done 4 turbos in the life of this truck, all the diesel injectors, the FICM, the fuel injection control module. We've done a lot of brakes on this truck over the years, but it's been a costly thing for us. We're planning on taking more cross-country trips, and we thought it's probably time to upgrade. So as sad as it is, and it seriously is sad to sell this truck to the dealership, we're gonna be shopping for a new truck, and we'll talk to you about that in the future. A lot of nice things in this truck. For its day in 2005, it was loaded. Leather seats, heated seats, Upfitter switches, the diesel engine, the 6.0 was like the newest and best thing at the time. The torque shift transmission, all-terrain tires. I mean, this thing's still a beauty today, but for its day, it was also a really awesome truck. So we kept this truck pretty stock all along. We didn't make any changes to the engine, didn't soup it up, didn't chip it up, anything like that. Anytime we had engine work done, we used Ford Motorcraft parts, and the majority of all the work was done at the dealership. So we had this serviced at McCandless Ford. I do want to mention them. They've done a good job of taking care of the 6.0 engine. So if you're looking for a dealership that works on the 6.0 engines, they're one certainly to check out. If you don't want to use a dealership, though, I also want to give a shout out to HP Diesel, and that's near Conneaut Lake or Meadville area in Pennsylvania. That guy, I talked with Matt, he specializes in these 6.0 engines. He actually did a lot of work getting this ready and getting it rerunning after it broke down a second time towing the camper. So we were happy to see that. As far as the inside here, you can see, we had the controls on the steering wheel for the cruise. Had the mode for the radio, volume up and down, temperature and fan up and down. So all the HVAC, air conditioning, everything was temperature here inside the cab. Easy up and down temperature adjustments. Obviously 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, 4 high and 4 low. Had the info stuff here so we could see our miles per gallon, trip miles to empty, average miles per gallon. So this, for its day, was the loaded truck. It had reverse parking sensor, rear window, sliding window. These Upfitter switches I just had to have. This was something I thought, oh, I need the Upfitter switches. I never did anything with them, but we had a lot of fun playing. Mackenzie, when she was little, I'd say that this is the turbo. So I'd flip one up and hit the gas, and she thought it was amazing how much more power the switches gave the truck. It does have the trailer brake controller. You can see that I did add the ScanGauge. That's something that if you have a 6.0, I really recommend you add. You can see your oil coolant temperature, your oil temperature, your fan speed, your turbo boost. There's a lot of information you can see on here. You can also read codes. So I'd recommend getting a ScanGauge. This is the ScanGauge II. I believe I bought this from Bulletproof Diesel, already programmed for the 6.0, but they're available also on Amazon. If I can find one, I'll put a link to it. Another thing, this is the first new truck I ever bought, and it had leather seats. Now, when I bought this, I was looking for specific things. I kind of did a build and price, and I found a dealership that had one. I wanted the leather seats. What I didn't want that other Lariats had was a moonroof. So I found one that didn't have a moonroof in the color I wanted, which is the dark Torador red with the gray pinstripe. Love that mix of color.
And you love when people call it purple.
Yeah, I love when people say it's a purple color. It's clearly maroon or burgundy. But so, you know, it was exactly the truck I wanted. I drove down to Maryland and picked it up, and I've been really happy with it for 17 years. Another thing that's really nice that new trucks don't have is the driver glove box. I love this storage space, and I wish that all trucks had these, even still today. As far as upgrades go, we did upgrade the radio so that we could have a backup camera, Apple CarPlay, some Sirius XM if we need to play it through the phone. Even Waze will show on this Pioneer aftermarket radio, so that was really nice to have. Everything else in here is pretty much stock, and we've done a good job taking care of it, and has really held up well. The interior's in, you know, I'm not going to say like new shape, but pretty close to new shape. Yeah, it looks really good. Lots of storage in this console underneath here. Does seat 6 people. So if you're looking at a 6.0 diesel that's 17 years old, I'd say take a good look at it. This one has 130,000 miles. I think this is going to make someone still a good truck for another 100,000 miles. For me, the concern was we just put $7,000 in the engine. We've actually put over $12,000 in this engine since new, just in the engine. So that's a lot of money. That 6.0 I thought was problematic. I thought we had it solved. $7,000 more would tell us we didn't. But at least now all that stuff's new for the next person. The EGR cooler, the oil cooler, the EGR throttle, the EGR cooler, the oil cooler, and the EGR valve are all new for the next guy. So another thing that's really important to do if you have a 6.0 is put a coolant filter in it. That keeps that oil cooler from getting dirty, and it's probably a good idea. If I could go back in time, I'm not sure what the legality is of bulletproofing a diesel, removing all that EGR stuff. I always wanted to keep this stock, keep it legal, keep it the way Ford intended. If I could go back in time, I'd probably replace at least the EGR cooler with a bulletproof cooler, and probably a bulletproof oil cooler also. I don't know about deleting those things. Again, I don't know what the legality of that is as far as Pennsylvania state inspections, and I know they're designed to reduce, you know, the smog levels and the emissions. So I don't know that I'd want to do that, but it might be a good idea if you're having some 6.0 trouble to have someone like Matt at HP Diesel take a look at it and give you suggestions. I think it's always good to get a second opinion.